Hey guys, welcome to Paint-a-palooza. It's sometimes on Tuesday, sometimes in the afternoon, sometimes in the morning, but we have a ton of stuff to paint, so we thought we'd flip this camera on and show you how we thrift flip for profit for our store, Jamie Ray Vintage, JamieRayVintage.com online, and Jamie Ray Vintage in Lehigh, Utah. We're going to be using DIY paint, cottage color, iron orchid designs. Zep's got some prototype of the JRB papers and some seconds that we're using. So we're just going to have fun. So if you have a project, pull it out. We'll paint together. I'm going to be working on molds. So that's going to take me a hot minute. I don't even know that I'll get this painted on today's video. I just want to do the layout.
We have two mirrors like that.
Yeah, I have two mirrors like this. They were how much?
I think they were $5 each.
$5 or $10
somewhere
for
in
these
there.
Mirrors. And I've been wanting to spend some more time with the Felicity mold and then possibly be doing some bow work with the bows mold. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I've got Eileen's Rapid Dry is the glue I'm using today. It's definitely not non-toxic. It's stinky. And then the Iron Orchid Designs air dry clay. So I'm just giving you products that I'm using. I'm going to go to work and I'll let Zeb tell you what he's working on.
So over here, I'm just taking this mirror apart right now and it's glued in, which is fine. We glue mirrors in all the time. In fact, this mirror will probably get glued back in. I just got to, it's like a hot glue, pretty sure, that they used. I'm just trying to lift up a corner. And then once I get that corner lifted up, I can usually pull it around. And it's pretty tough unless you like lift the corner up. But you can see, let me see if I can move that. I'm starting to get this whole strand of hot glue. We're just going to work it around. Might have to, it breaks sometimes and you got to relift, but this is why I hot glue stuff in, because usually it comes apart fairly easy, but it holds until you need it to not hold. If that makes sense.
What you mean is it can be removed, but it also does the job.
Yep.
That's what I was thinking when you were saying that. Okay, I'm just grabbing a little paintbrush because when you're doing delicate, like intricate molds like this, you really want to cornstarch your molds. So I've got cornstarch in my little bowl here, and I'm going to cornstarch these molds before I use them.
So I got enough of that glue off that it just released out of there, and now I'm just peeling the rest off where it was still stuck good.
I don't know. Do I want to do a bow on the top of this with some floral? I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start with a bow. We're going to go with that. I know a lot of people are like, oh, bows, I don't know about that. But if you look at a lot of the French provincial mirrors, frames, bows, or like the furniture, bows are really popular.
I've been doing a lot of research on like family crests and like
they have a lot of bows too, huh?
Banners and things. They all have bows on them. They're like up there with lions and unicorns and bows.
Lions and unicorns and bows. Oh my. And then the other thing too is because I have teenage daughters, I know that there is a design called like coquette or something. And it's like girls wearing bows. I'm sure you've seen like grown women with long bows in their hair. I'm probably not going to do that anytime soon, but I will put bows on my decor because I like it. I even noticed, if you guys follow Exa McKenna, she's been known to wear a long bow in her hair. It's very trendy. Kind of like when all the bloggers had the blogger hat, you know, that brimmed hat. You still see it every now and then, but for a while, man, the camel colored blogger hat, they didn't leave home without it.
All right. So if you remember these are like the base for like a hurricane lamp. You set a candle down in there and then it burns. And we just decided we wanted to make cloches out of these. This is like an inch thick at the bottom. It's ridiculous. I drilled and drilled. So I just used this to know how I got the hole in the glass. This is a diamond tip drill bit. I just got the Milwaukee bit because they had the pack of 4, came in varying different sizes. It's going to be hard to see because it's got like glass dust all over it. But it's made for tile and glass, and you want to specifically get the ones that are made for that. Use your drill on the low speed setting and tile and glass bit. It's really easy to Google and find it. This is the 3/16 bit, and it's worked perfect for this little
And he also
screw.
used water.
Oh yeah, I actually used Windex because that's what was in the spray bottle, but I just kept it wet while I sprayed. or while I was drilling, and just
Kind of like
sprayed
a
it.
tile saw, how it has water. Well, if you never used a tile saw, you wouldn't know, but tile saws have water on them. I happen to know because I actually did this marble backsplash behind us. I did it like 90% of it myself.
I don't know if you'll be able to see this on camera, but see how long this screw is? It's like 1.25 inches, maybe 1.5 inches, probably 1.25 inches. It only comes up about 3/8 of an inch there. So almost an inch thick on the glass on the bottom.
Those are Cortrina's cloches. Sweet. I just washed your king size quilt, Cortrina. It's actually currently air drying over my banister upstairs. I'm still working on all the laundry from last week because we were out of town and I didn't get it washed before the live video. So much to my mom's dismay, because she has laundry to do, I'm like, washer's busy today.
Okay.
I got to get all my quilts washed. So that's what I'm doing.
So that's a little crooked. I think it's crooked because this glass on the top is not flush. It's like a breakaway. And so it's not going to be flat. I may sand that.
Let me see.
And to get it back level, because it's going to bug my eye a little bit.
Oh yeah. Or what you could do is just leave it up a little bit and just put a little bit of hot glue on the one side to lift it up.
Oh, like right there?
Yeah, just like a bead. So that way it's level, kind of level it out. That's what I would do.
Okay, I like that. We'll try that first. If not, the hot glue will come off just like it did on the mirror.
So I am just pushing. So I had to use like one long piece of clay here, and then I've got other little tiny pieces. And anywhere I seamed it together, I really like to push hard down into the mold. You may still get some cracks from where you seamed it together, but that will help it be a little less cracky. Somebody asked if I still had the multicolored fruit. I believe we painted that.
Yeah.
Caitlin could probably check on the website, see if it's sold, but I did paint it and then clear and dark wax it. But I think that it's sold after I did that. So we'll have to look and see if we still have that. That was the only one I had like that. So I don't have any other fruit stacks. Cortrina says she's excited about her quilt. Okay, now that I've spent 5 years making this bow, I'm just going to flip my mold over.
Yeah, Cortrina bought a bunch of stuff on that haul before we left town. So she's been patiently waiting for like over a week now.
Yeah, we've got to get her rocking horse done. Okay, so here's my bow that I made. And I did pretty good about seaming it. There's a few spots, but it's okay because it'll get covered in paint.
Did you grab the clear wax and take it over there? Do you have the brush? You did.
Now I'm wondering, there's like these long tails. Should I take off? I think I'm just going to leave the short tails and then I'm going to do floral. I wasn't sure what I'm going to do. The fruit towers. Oh, okay. Caitlin already responded. Okay, sorry. Yeah, that fruit tower is the only one I had. If I find more fruit towers, I will buy them because that was pretty popular. That one was like a controversial subject. People did or didn't like that I painted it and made it look dirty. If you guys haven't checked it out, please watch our video from yesterday. We went thrifting. It got up about 3 hours late because I had it all edited and my computer crashed. Actually, my app crashed. And so Zeb had to completely re-edit it on a different app. Zeb, are you going to be using these cardboard pieces again?
No, those are trash.
Okay, I'm going to use this to smear my glue. And so we basically edited yesterday's video twice.
And we were late getting started.
And we were late anyways because the bins took longer than we thought. Because we do all of our thrifting for the thrifting videos on Monday, even though that goes 2 different days.
Okay, so these bunnies were like a yellow, not a good yellow.
They were a pee-pee yellow.
But they have a ton of like texture all over in the original finish. I painted these with White Swan, which is the DIY clay-based formula. Very thick, all natural, no VOCs. And now I'm going to wax it with clear wax, and then we're going to dark wax them. And we're going to see if we can get the dark wax to sit down in all of these cracks. Because honestly, on camera, it's so bright, you can't even really see the crackle on there. Once I dark wax it, you'll be able to see all of that.
All right. Sorry, Caitlin. I just saw your text. So I will not click on it so that way I can click on it after the video so I won't forget. Okay. I'm going to now decide what kind of floral I want to add. There's so many decisions here. I might just do 2 of these long things here and then do a big bouquet down at the bottom. On video, those bows don't look right. I don't know.
Are you making sure you're centered in the top though?
Oh, I am, because I used their design.
Oh.
See, they had a little curly Q design in the middle.
Perfect.
So I don't know, but there you go. Ta-da! All right. This might actually not take as long as I thought that it would. I think these are mirrored. Are these mirrored or are they different sizes? 12 grams, 14 grams. Oh, this one's bigger.
So back to family crests.
Let's get back to those family crests while I'm sitting here talking to myself. What about them?
The reason I've been looking them up is Jamie was like, you know what? We need, because the way it all started is we have hollyhocks growing in the backyard over by the cottage between the garden and the shop in a little planter over there. And they're going to seed. And they're organic, heirloom hollyhocks. Hollyhocks are basically a weed anyway.
Well, I don't know what
depending on who you ask. Anyway, I'm saving all the seeds and I ordered some packets, some seed packets, so I can be all official and label them and put the year on them and all that, keep them dry. And Jamie's like, when Jamie saw me doing that, she's like, we need to get a Ray Farms logo going. I was like, all right.
We also have to change our license to be able to do seeds because we have a license to sell plants.
Yeah, which it's easy. You just have to pay more. But anyway, so I dove into a bunch of family history. I found, so my mom is a Baird from Scotland. I found the Baird family crest and their tartan. I already knew what the tartan looked like, but I didn't know if we had a crest or not. Turns out back in the 1200s, William the Lion, King of Scotland, granted the Ray side of the family. Also, they were northern UK now, not quite into Scotland. So it would have been northern England. But the Ray family also has a crest from the same king.
So it's similar?
Because one of my great grandpas used to hunt the deer for the king, and he was so good at it and found him the best deer, and he was very fast and fleet of foot, I guess. That's what I was reading in the history on it. And I traced the genealogy all the way back. Actually, I got as far as the 1300s, but the same people were named because William also was like, hey, if I'm going to give you, he gave him a bunch of land so that he could hunt on it. And that was his deal. He provided deer for the king's court and he got a bunch of land. But he also had to guarantee that he would name some of his children William. And so there's a bunch of William Rays in the line. Anyway, it's just fun. I was looking at it and going through it and reading all the history on it. I love family history. But so I all this time I was thinking Ray was like an English origin, and it is. They were from England originally, like way northern England, right up there against Scotland. But
Sorry, I'm texting Caleb.
Where we even got our surname from is because back in the day, I think a Ray was like a deer.
Doe, a deer, a female.
Back in the 1200s. Anyway, so that's where my family name comes from. And both sides of the family have ties to William the Lion.
All that to say, we're making.
And I've been looking into those ancestral ties in history on like what kind of logo I want for a farm. We don't have a farm yet, but I do have big plans for the 40 acres. I talked with Dad about channel membership. I won't bore them again with it, but we've got some big plans, like a 10-year plan. It's her too. I do not. I get things started and then she sees what I'm doing.
I do not have any desire to have a cattle ranch.
No, not a ranch. It's not big enough for a ranch.
Whatever, to have cows. Having a milking cow was great.
So I have to have so many to get a well in Utah. You have to have like a good reason.
Well, you have to buy water rights.
And you have to buy the water rights, but they don't just give water rights out. Like you can't just buy them. You have to have a good reason to be buying them. And then once you have the water rights, then you can drill a well and you have to get a permit for that. Water is it's such a dry state. Like water is very heavily regulated.
Second driest state in the nation, next to Nevada, drier than Arizona.
Yep.
We do not have monsoons.
Nope. And then once I get the well going and I have the water rights, I have to use the well shares, the water shares that I buy. or else they take them back away and I can't use them. So I've got to get a well out there, I got to have a little farm situation happening and prove that I need it and that it's a legitimate business. So, you know, in the next 10 years, watch for that. But you got to start somewhere.
Today,
so I'm starting with a logo.
Today, I'm just doing some paper clay on a mirror. That's where I'm at. And I was thinking that we could use a logo because we have some seeds. I wasn't going quite that deep.
All of that to say, we're gonna get a little logo printed out and put them on our seeds for funsies, and we might resell some of our heirloom seeds.
There we go. I don't know what the legality is of that since they came from other plants, you know, like that we got from other places.
I think you just have to buy the license.
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We'll do it. We'll do it the right way. Don't you worry.
Figure outable.
I will do the research.
I'm just continuing. Somebody said that these looked weird. These bows that IOD made look exactly like the ruffly bows that you see on furniture. They're almost identical. Like I've seen a lot in my day. Okay, this is like the long, skinny, swaggy mold. That's what I'm doing on this part. And because this is like curved and round and all those things, I wasn't going to mess around with resin. Like paper clay really is my best option. So I don't want to like poke my eyes out.
All right. People ask us a lot of times if we wash our wax brushes. The answer to that is not very often, maybe once or twice a year. Or
we
if
are
they
not
get
prime
super
examples
crusty.
of what you should or should not be doing with brushes.
So this is a 1 1/4 JRV stencil brush. If you need one, you can get it at JamieRayVintage.com.
Commercial break. JamieRayVintage.com.
I take it will harden up because the wax dries out, and I just break it until it's like nice and soft again. You just sit here and okay, and now that's like all nice and ready for dark wax and bristly.
And you swirl and you swirl.
You know, one of the reasons we clean them is because I'm like, oh, I used a clear wax with a dark wax, and now my brushes are all muddy.
Linda wants to know why I changed the glue I was using. I just wanted to try it out. I wouldn't highly recommend this glue. It is really stinky. The
Gorilla Glue construction adhesive, max strength, is what we like. It's thick. It dries fairly quick. And it's probably got a little bit of a smell, but it's way less than this stuff.
I just wanted to try it. I never tried Eileen's Rapid Dry Mixed Media Adhesive. That's what it's called. It works fine. Debbie Beard is Eileen's. She likes their tacky glue. I always tease her about that because tacky glue takes forever to dry. But when it does dry, it is good. Oh, somebody said that we're frozen. That might be.
I think we're moving over here because that's the stream right there.
Yeah, I think we're good. Caitlin, let me know if we are indeed frozen.
You can't see it, but we got a laptop right here monitoring comments and watching the stream. If you see me
looking over to the side, that's because I'm reading comments. Sometimes if it's frozen for people, oh, it's not frozen there. Sometimes it's their internet.
Yeah.
We
were having a struggle with our internet this morning. I rebooted the modem and it seems like it's fine.
Yeah, we pay for the absolute biggest, bestest, baddest internet that we can have, but it doesn't always deliver for what we pay for it, in my opinion. However, we are getting fiber.
So they also have, I looked into it, they have business options.
Ours is business.
No, for fiber.
Oh.
But I went and looked this morning after we were having problems. They don't have fiber to our house yet or the shop.
But we do. We're in like the older part of Lehigh, which is where I think it's coming first. All right. Almost got the second one done.
Okay. That's looking pretty muddy. I know.
When I'm done getting these on here, I'll give this a base coat and throw it outside. And I probably won't get to waxing it, but you guys will see where I'm headed with it. Do you seal your molds before painting them? No.
So you can.
I don't know why you would.
So someone left a comment on Facebook. They were having a struggle with their molds cracking. And they didn't remember who it was. And I don't know who it was. But they said they were watching someone that paints their molds while they're still wet, and that keeps them from cracking.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, we have done that lots of times, and it does help.
I don't let them dry all the way. First of all, I'm not that kind of patient. But yeah, I do paint them while they're wet. And then if you have to, you can backfill or put more paint on them. Facebook should have to pay half of our bill for all the nonsense they cost, half of our bill. Facebook has caught, I'm not gonna say anything bad because then, the Facebook ears will hear me, but they've been a pain in my butt for a while. If anybody remembers, we got hacked last year. That was horrendous and took me 2 months to get our page back, which is crazy. Most people don't even get it back. And then they still owe us about $4,000 that they paid to the hackers that they shouldn't have because they knew that we'd been hacked. They should have cut off payments. And I message them every so often on an email that only I can use because it's specific to my account, specific to that transaction on the account. And they always tell me, be patient. We have a team looking into it. I'm like, it's been a year. And they want me to be patient. Okay, now I need to figure out which direction this one was, just so that way.
Anyway, we're not expecting that money.
All that to say, Facebook, yeah, they're a pain in the butt. But, they make the rules. Okay, trying to figure out.
Some of the yellow is peeking back through because I didn't wait for if I really wanted to do it and not have the white swan come off at all, I would have clear waxed it, let that cure for like a day, buffed it, and then waxed it again so it was nice and fresh, and then done the dark wax over. But I'm okay with the hint of yellow. It's not bad with the dark on here. I didn't do the whole bunny either because by the time I would have got to the other side of dark waxing the bunny, this would have already been starting to dry and cure up, and it would have been very difficult to get off.
I'm wondering if places that have more humidity, if their molds crack less because they dry slower. Kind
of like people that are in the West have drier, leathery skin when they're old versus people back East look like they're 50 when they're 80. Moisturize. I wonder if that's it. Because Yumiko said that she doesn't have, her molds don't crack. Okay. You guys can keep the humidity though. I'll take cracky, leathery skin. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, I got glue in my cut. Oh, but that stings because that smells strong. It stings. That's why I was like, ooh, it's not that bad. It's going to glue it shut. My cut. What did I cut I cut my finger on a canning jar. I accidentally banged to the side of the canning jar with a knife and it cut it. And I was like, oh, it'll be fine. And I went to screw the lid on and I screwed it on and I slid my finger. It was not fine. Zeb sanded it for me after that, but. Not the finger, the jar. The jar, yes. So it's no longer sharp. Well, glad it was me and not. It was one of her fancy lay parfait jars. Yeah, well, fancy or not, I realize I need to move this up a little. They can still give fits. Oh, this needs to go up more. There we go. Sorry, I gotta talk to myself. Are these bunnies already sold? Yes, they are sold. So a lot of what we're painting today is already sold. Just fair warning. Saturday's haul from what you saw yesterday. If you haven't seen that video, go back and watch it. It was pretty fun. It's like 27 minutes of just thrifting. We had so much thrifting, we didn't even get to painting. And then, but Saturday's video or yesterday's video, that stuff will be available. We thrift every week. Someone asked why we've been going to Goodwill so much and why we don't hit up more like church type charity shops. I answered them, but I don't know if they saw it. The answer to that is the Deseret Industries that we usually go to is a church thrift store, and they do tons of good stuff. There are a few other smaller ones, but the Deseret Industries is it's the LDS church, the one that we go to, and we're not particular. We'll go wherever the good stuff is. I'll go to any church's thrift store. Yeah. They just have a ton of them, and people, because that's very well managed. The predominant religion in Utah. They're managed well, and a lot of people donate to them. So that's where most of the stuff is. It's also, somebody asked me why are your Goodwill so good? It's because competition breeds excellence, and Deseret Industries is hands down the best thrift store that I've ever been to. And I think because of that, the Goodwills here, they price differently, they organize differently. They also get a ton of donations because people in Utah of all faiths, backgrounds, whatever, seem to be pretty generous.
And we're also huge consumers, which means people are shopping a lot.
Lots of large families.
And
here.
they have to get rid of stuff a lot. So because they're consuming a lot, there's just more stuff at the thrift stores. And people, our economy is actually pretty good here. And so because of that, people wind up just donating for the tax write-off as opposed to like having yard sales and whatnot. So our thrift stores are very, very full. We have a lot of people that ask us, they're like, how, you know, if you're buying that stuff, what about people that actually need it? I'm like, have you seen the shelves at our thrift stores? They are not empty. And if we don't buy it, they'll throw it away or have to ship it elsewhere because they have to keep it rotated. Thanks, Kim. Gail says, we have low prices and cool stuff. That's awesome. So we actually, when we go into Heber, there is a St. Francis, I believe, thrift store. So like a Catholic thrift store.
I love that thrift store. They always have like good old stuff.
They have good, and then there's also
they have lots of silver.
Center Stage. That's the one I think you're thinking of. That one's not the Catholic one. The Catholic one has like a ton of outerwear, like ski wear type stuff. Oh, that's good. So this is the 2 flowers from the Felicity mold, and I'm going to put that in the middle and start from there and then build up. But the bottom is not going to be as heavy as the top. It'll have less floral in it.
Okay, so the clear wax was drying a little more on this side. So I'm probably going to have to use some dark wax or more clear wax as like an eraser to get some of this dark wax the way I want it. But not to fret. These bunnies have so much detail. They're all like hugging and leaning on each other.
In England, we go to jumble sales.
Yeah.
We can.
Those are actually the best. Like we get the best deals there.
And then
they're like, please take it. If like it's just stuff everybody from the church brought, and they're gonna throw it away afterwards.
Or take it more like community centers.
Yeah.
There's sales that we go to. People keep asking us when we're gonna go. We actually don't know what this fall is going to look like. So we haven't made tickets. We might get refundable tickets. So that way, if things change, we can get our money back.
Or,
really would like
put it towards like a spring flight or something.
Did I mean for the bow to be off-centered? It's not off-centered. It's like right in the middle.
No, it
just depends on how I hold it. There you go. It's right in the middle. So this particular frame has these curly cues. And I use that to center my bow and to also center my floral. So this goes smack dab in the middle of that. It could just be the way that you're seeing it because
the angle she's holding it.
There it looks centered. This way it looks crooked. So no, I did not mean for it to be. And I don't believe that it is. We'll find out when I'm all done.
But back to England, we may get a trip in this year. We may not. It's been since last October since we've even really taken a trip. Camp was kind of like a trip, but it was more just time off. Like
it was service.
It was a lot of service for the youth.
Somebody's like, "Welcome back from vacation." I was like, "That was not vacation.
It was
not that we didn't have a good time, but
it was a 4-hour drive away in the mountains, still in Utah, but." Then we did a lot of driving around and shuffling of kids here and there because like one day we drove like 40 minutes away to Flaming Gorge which is a big reservoir, and floated down the Green River on rafts with them. And then day after that we did we went spelunking. There's a big open cave that we went down in and explored and had a fun spiritual thought down inside.
Caitlin's definitely not vacation. Caitlin has been to youth camps before. Yes. So.
And then also so I'm over the 16 to 18-year-old young men. So every time they were assigned on cook duty, because we had a camp chef, but the youth all took turns with their various groups helping get breakfast or dinner or lunch ready.
Zeb's youth had breakfast twice.
I had breakfast twice. So, you know.
I was technically not a leader because I am in charge of teaching the little kids music. I just went as an extra adult. So when Zeb got up early to take his 16-year-olds to help with breakfast, I actually just stayed in bed because there's only so much room. I didn't want to crowd it, you know? So I just let him do that.
Well, I mean, it was a lot of work, but I love it. I had so much fun. Like all the activities we did, I love, and I just love seeing the youth like engage and interact with each other. And you always have a few that didn't want to be there. or didn't want to go. We had one of those kids, Redrick, is I just want to stay home and play video games. It's hot outside. Can't fault him for that. It was hot. It was hot during the day and cold at night. But it's fun to see
I'm
them.
not driving you anywhere. If you want to go to Bros, you got to walk or ride your bike.
It's fun to see them by the end of camp. They're all buddies and way closer than they were before, and they've got a bunch of new friends or stronger ties with old friends, and everybody's just getting along. It was great.
Kaylin's out for a minute, so I will watch comments. Susie says, I'm Catholic and shop at DI. I love DI. When we were in Utah and we're lucky to meet you in your former shop, you told us about DI. I'll be back in Utah in August.
Oh, fun.
Awesome.
End of August through like mid-November. If you want to come to Utah, maybe November might be starting to get a little cold. We typically don't get snow till the end of November down here in the valley, but it's gorgeous. Like fall is the best season up here. The leaves on the mountains are changing. They're all orange and red and yellow.
And it's not as windy as spring. I mean, spring is great because after winter, ain't nobody sad about spring around here. But fall is really nice.
Okay, I think these bunnies are as done as I'm going to get them. I didn't have to put, it ended up wiping off pretty good. Let me bring this close so you can see. I feel like I've been talking and wiping wax off of these bunnies for 20 minutes. Okay, now you can see all that good crackle because of the dark wax. And
Did you put a little more clear wax on them?
No.
I think I'd do just a little bit of clear wax just to pull off some of it and make them a little.
Are they dirtier than you want them to be?
I mean, they're your bunnies, but they actually belong to somebody else because they bought them.
I'll see. I'm not going to put a ton of effort into it. I'm ready for my next project. Fair warning.
Seb has moved on.
I thought they looked great, but I do like a dirtier wax than Jamie does. Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll get down in these cracks where I couldn't really reach good. So this is clear wax here. This is prime example of how my brush is going to get washed because now it's going to be like a muddy, tannish clear wax and brown dark wax.
I think I'm going to use, there's like just some little daisies in the part of this Felicity mold. So I have like roses and a daisy and then two big roses. I think I'm just going to daisy out the little corners here. So I'm just going to use this little clump of daisies on each side, and then that'll be good. Should I do like this so that way nobody thinks I'm crooked? Also, the camera is angled down, so that changes things a little bit. Black bunnies need representation. These aren't black bunnies. These are like bunnies that ran around in the dirt piles.
That would be fun to do, though, like do bunnies black with like a reverse like white wax. They end up looking more like stone, though, when you do that.
Gray bunnies?
Yeah.
Okay, let me get back to this. Susie says, we love Utah all year round. We love Utah all year round, too. There's just sometimes I'm tired of snow. It is no secret that
every time it snows, I get excited because it gives me a reason to go like hang out in my tractor. Because I have to go plow the shop, so it's safe for you guys to come shop.
Some of the work is not fun to do in the snow, but your tractor now has a heater, so.
Yeah. And windshield wipers in case it's currently snowing while I'm in it.
Just getting in the car, getting out of the car. It takes me a really long time to warm up, and Zeb is like warm-blooded anyway, so he never gets as cold as I do. And
Jamie has really low blood pressure. And
I have low iron too. I wonder if that.
Apparently, I have high blood pressure. I don't know.
Are black bunnies like black cats? I don't know. I haven't ever seen too many black bunnies. Mostly gray and cream. I guess there are black bunnies.
Yeah, there's tons of black bunnies. They come in all different colors.
All right, I'm putting my little clump of daisies to finish off my.
Okay, these bunnies are done. That's all the more clear wax. It lightened it up a little bit and pulled it out of some of the deeper cracks I couldn't get into with the paper towel.
Oh, Caitlin says low iron also causes temperature regulating issues. Well, I have all the low things: low iron, low blood pressure. I know y'all think I have a lot of energy, but I have like my irons in the teens, and it's really just not getting out of there. I need to be better about taking my iron supplement.
Did you find the screws for this?
I already put them back in.
Oh, you already
Remember
put them back
I told you we
Did you show them this?
No, we couldn't find them, and they were on Zeb's side of the table.
So this we did during channel membership. This is that galvanized shelf. Jamie painted it black, and then she used the new Iron Orchid Designs Botanical Roses transfer.
Yep. So it's Rose Botanical.
Rose Botanical, sorry.
And then I just use clear wax because it was already.
Is this sold too?
I don't think so. I actually don't. I need to.
This has 2 hanging hooks. You can use it as a shelf. I think it's actually cool just sitting there. I'd probably put like jars with flowers in them and not hang it, but that's up to you. I
probably need to have my doctor order an iron infusion because we actually have health insurance now. We used to be self-pay through like a health share program, but we upgraded and we have real health insurance now. So it probably would help pay for it.
Turns out it was about the same price.
The same cost. Okay. So there's my little organite stuff top and bottom. I think that looks really good. Now I just need to decide what color. I think I'm actually going to paint it provincial because I think provincial with like either a white dry brush once it's dried tomorrow or a white wax. Frederick must be taking video games over to Brody's because he's got his football back. Oh no, he's going to football practice.
They're also going to go do agility training because Brody has it in the afternoon and Redrick has it in the morning.
Where does Brody do agility? Somewhere else?
I don't know. He said he was going to go do it with him.
Oh, okay.
He's already been to agility, but I'm like, go get those gains, buddy.
I've noticed that Redrick's physique is changing. Like as he's getting older, he's losing the little boy
puberty's kicking in. The testosterone's going to start taking over.
Yeah. Because him and Harrington were always a little more thick-legged. Jack is just a skinny, ripped little boy. He's not
Jack
as big
has a
as
6-pack at 10.
Yeah. Jack is working on a 6-pack. And you could tell
Which I never had that.
You could tell he does push-ups every day because he's starting to like get this thing figured out. And he's only 10, but he loves to work out because he likes football. So he does sit-ups and push-ups every day. And he's skinny, but my other 2 boys
Jack is also he'll eat most things, but he's one of our more picky eaters.
He eats a lot of candy.
I feel like that comes into play too.
Yeah, but also my side of the family is not huge. And so I think Redrick and Harrington are more thick, and Jack's he was a little thick. Well, he was a lot thick when he was little, but he's gotten skinny.
I've never been super thin. The only time I was ever really thin is when I was working construction right after high school, and I got down to like 175 or 180. But my body likes about 220.
Marcia says, have them check your thyroid. Oh, they have. I also have an underactive thyroid. All of the things. It's amazing. I get out of bed every day.
Okay,
I'm stubborn. That's how I get out of bed.
This cloche is done. Let me see. Okay, you can lift it. It's looking good. I like it. Okay. So that turned out pretty cool. An easy way to upcycle one of these hurricane lamps.
That's so cute. I'm glad that I was like, okay.
We need a plate. Do we have a plate we can put it on? A cool one?
Maybe.
Here, I'll just use one of your brown transferware plates.
Okay, yeah. I'm like, I only have IKEA, like their equivalent of Corelware. That's what we use.
This is because it bells out. This is going to be a little big.
It'll give people the idea. But actually, if that was a little larger plate, that would be cool with a pedestal underneath it.
Yeah.
But just like a regular dinner size plate, Cortrina. And then if you just use like E6000 and put a Sunday dish on the bottom, then you would have like a whole setup. So did you buy both of them, Cortrina? I think she did.
We have 2. I got to drill the hole.
Now I'm going to be buying them every time I'm at the thrift store if I can find them. Even if the little ones, because you just put little knobs on them. Because cloches are expensive and they're hard to find. I need a brush. I need to stop talking with my hands. And working.
It took like on low speed because that's an inch thick. It probably took like a solid 15 minutes to drill that hole. I was like, I need to queue up a video and watch it while I drill this.
Low and slow when you're working with glass, though.
Yeah, I didn't want to crack it. Okay.
Because we haven't had the best of luck. We actually have a mirror in my dining room that's still broken because Zeb cut it himself. And
I wanted to show you
we
guys.
We haven't fixed it in 3 years.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, go ahead. What?
No, you're good. Talking about the mirror. I wanted to show you guys something real quick because occasionally it happens and these make their way to the seconds. If I'm not sitting at the printer and I've queued up like 100 prints at once, sometimes this print in particular, I think it comes out really wet because it puts so much dark ink on there with all the greens. But sometimes it'll get stuck. And then like before I know it, 20 pages are like accordioned up like this. But this paper's fine. It printed out great. It just coming out, it got all wrinkled. So I'm going to show you how to fix that. If you get in, I'm not going to send them to you like this, but if you get any wrinkles in your papers, they're easy to iron out.
Oh, Caitlin, I'm not using the faux bois. I'm using Felicity and Bose. So Bose and, not, is that Felicity? Yes, Felicity.
I need one more.
I don't use the faux bois as much as I should.
I guess I'll just use
Felicity is a different F word.
Stop it.
Well, because you put faux bois. That's a different F word. All right, I'm just drying off this brush because if your brush is wet when you get your paint on it, especially the cottage color, it thins it out.
Okay, high heat, no water. I just put this down because I have wax and I didn't want to get that on the paper, which is why this dish towel's down there. I thought I had another dish towel handy, but I didn't find it. But I don't want to put the heat of the iron directly on here because sometimes it'll catch that ink. You want just a little barrier.
This paintbrush has been heat gunned before, and it's just a little unruly, but it works.
So because this is rice paper that we do the decoupage on, the ink actually won't change color, but when you heat it up, sometimes the paper gets darker. And so it changes that. Because I've tried it on other papers, ironing it just to test the ink, and the ink doesn't really change color. It's just this rice paper. All right, that's mostly flat. Looks like we need to, doesn't look like the heat has affected it. We didn't get any color changing. I'm moving it fast enough. So high heat, no water on your iron. You can get almost any wrinkle out if you don't want wrinkles. If you're decoupaging it, it almost doesn't matter because once you get that wet with the liquid patina or whatever you're using for a decoupage medium, it's not going to change. All right, most of the accordion's out of there. It still has a little bit, but I think that'll smooth out just fine. And we didn't lose any, oh, got some stuff on the drop cloth. We didn't lose any image quality.
Tanya, if you're trying to decide on which mold and you haven't bought the Felicity mold, it's pretty awesome if you love roses. That one's really good. The bow mold is cool too because it really does, like, I didn't think I'd use it that much, but looking at like older pieces, the bows are on a lot of older pieces. So I've been looking up furniture that has carvings on it and trying to replicate that with my pieces, and the bows mold has come in handy. So I'm just using a little brush to kind of get in all these details. This would be really great if I could spray inside the house. That's not going to happen. So I'm just brushing on a dirty coat. We'll let it dry. And then the second coat, I don't know what that is. I think this is one of my hairs. The second coat will give it much better coverage. This is a really slick surface. Oh, drippy on the inside.
Don't get crazy excited about this new paper. This is a prototype that I was playing around with. You may get something similar to this soon, but it won't be this exactly.
So we have all the IOD molds. I don't think they've retired anything but the grapes, Helena. And then the Christmas molds, those are limited time only, like any of the seasonal. But Caitlin, would you drop the link to just all the Iron Orchid Designs molds that we have? And that way Helena can see what we've got in stock. Like if we don't have it in stock, it's because Iron Orchid Designs has either discontinued it like if it was seasonal, or they're sold out of it on their end because we keep all the stock that they currently have. When they get stuff back in stock, I have a purchasing manager. That's like one of the big parts of her job is to keep us stocked. She orders it and she gets quite a bit in. Thank you, Caitlin. She dropped that link there. See you later, Les. People were talking about iron. I do not take a pill supplement just because it can mess with your stomach. I use a liquid supplement that I get on Amazon, and it just tastes nasty. But my doctor recommended it, and I have liked it when I take it. And I just need to be more regular about taking it. The problem is you're supposed to do it before or after you eat by like a certain amount of time. I'm just not that organized. I probably should just take it whenever because taking it whenever is better than not taking it at all. Some of it's going to absorb into my body.
I'm just going to scuff this up. It needs painted. So we're going to, it was pretty good, but it got a dent. So we're just going to come over it with the gold.
Christian's laughing at my phrase, "banasty." I did not come up with that phrase. I think it's indicative of my time. You know how like every set of teenager has like words that they use? Banasty was definitely from our time. Did you ever say banasty?
I'm sure. You know, can't recall using it recently, but
Well, because you've grown up and I'm still using the words from our childhood.
I don't know if it's growing up.
Gross,
If you use modern slang, is that really growing up? Because it's just new kids making up new words.
Yeah, we use a lot of the slang because our kids use it. Like, well, we don't use it, but we know what it is. Skibbity toilet, Riz. What was the other word that they were using the other day? I don't know. Sigma. That one I hate. I was like, don't use that word. I don't like it. I don't actually know what it means, and I don't want to hear it.
It's Latin.
Oh, well, they're not using it in the Latin form. They're using it in, it's blasphemous in their form.
Okay.
I don't know. It just sounds bad. Okay.
Are we out of brushes? Clean ones?
What color do you want?
I'm using gold.
Oh, yeah, you'll have to get a new, well,
I'm going to do a little brush.
you could wash out my cornstarch brush, but I would
Are you
just
going to need it more?
I might, so don't touch it. Plus, it's a pain to get all the cornstarch out. I mean, you can touch it if you want to, but don't.
I just touched it a little.
If you can't find another brush, I will relinquish my cornstarch brush. I laugh at rando. Oh, yeah. Rando, that's so rando. It means random. Oh, if something's just middle of the road, it's mid. I do know that word. Like it's just average. Like that's so mid. It's not bad. It's not good. It's in the middle. Thanks, Vicky. She says she loves my huge oval frame. It was such a basic frame. And we bought them a while ago. But then when these molds came out, I knew that I wanted to do something very French country with them. I actually saw somebody that did something like this and then they painted it up all gold. So I might do that for the next one. Oops, there's a little chip on the edge of this frame here, but it's all right. Whatever paint finish they put on here before, though, I do not like that. So that's why it's getting a whole new look. I think that's glue. Yeah. Best if you have low iron to see your doctor. I'm using Provincial. I do have crockery here. I might use it in a little bit. I just haven't used Provincial in a while because we've been out at home. And I tend to just use whatever paints we have. But the more popular colors that I love, what we wind up being out of. So I've been out of crockery. I've been out of Provincial. And I've been using other things. Provincial and crockery go well together, but they're definitely different tones. Provincial is a taupe and crockery is like a really dark cream.
Even sanding this, that's so shiny. I'm going to probably have to do 2 or 3 coats. It's not going to change it a ton, but it'll enable me so that I can dark wax it and it'll pick some of that up.
All right, I think I got this whole frame painted. Deb, can you put this outside for me? Missed some spots. I guess I can catch them on second. Can you put this outside for me, though?
Yeah, you need it outside?
Yeah, let me just, now that I'm looking
at it. Are you
going
to paint this paint bucket?
Maybe not today. That's like a whole video in and of itself. And when I paint that, it's going to be a mess. Like, I got to chunk it on there. Okay, can you? There you go. I think I touched this side. Okay, it's got to get second coated. All right, while he's doing that, I'm going to show you guys rolling pins that we did earlier. We did 2 of the Charlotte's stamps. These will get listed later. 2 of them have already sold. And this is what's the name of the floral stamp?
Oh,
it just came out.
Shoot.
And then this is the ephemeral stamp.
It's over there. Name.
And then I just used Provincial on the handles. I just wanted to stick with a neutral theme. So 2 of these are going to get shipped out because they've sold. I've got another Charlotte stamp, and then 2 of them will be listed later today. Oh,
see, is there a pencil over there or a
totally
pen?
scratched that. Are they from the Saturday haul? Yes, these are from the Saturday haul. If you want to list them, they're not like separated out though because I haven't rephotographed them. Oh, it got blurry. Can you fix the camera? What are you looking
As soon
for?
as I find a pencil, I guess this will work. It's not sharpened, but I'll fix that.
So I want to do a paint inlay on this. So I'm going to take out the. All right. Thanks, Caitlin. Caitlin dropped a link if you want to snag one of our stamped rolling pins. So we have been asked if you can do paint inlays in the cottage color. You can. However, it won't do it perfectly because it has a built-in sealer. But I thought I might try it into the cottage color so you guys can see what that would be like live. So I'll do a base coat and then I'll pick out the inlay and then I'll put a second coat on there and put it in the paint. We'll see how it works. It's just paint. It's no big deal. If it doesn't turn out, I'll paint over it and move on with my life. How do you clean the wood to prepare it? This is just water. If it's greasy, then I would use like a degreaser, but it's not. But it's kind of shiny, so I want to make sure that there's no grease on it before I attempt an inlay. Some of the projects we have to paint today, because we might need a break from talking, we might have to put on, well, there's something sticky.
Oh,
there is something sticky on that. We might have to put it on the end of tomorrow's video. Because we have like 2 weeks worth of projects to do because we were gone last week.
I think we can get a lot of them knocked out though.
Yeah. Angela says she's saving for the Charlotte stamp. She's really pretty. I didn't think I was going to love her because I'm not into steampunk. But even if you're not into steampunk, the way you arrange it, you can make it very Victorian. You can make it very French country, or you can make it steampunk.
To not make it steampunk, you just drop the gears.
Yeah, just don't put the gear shifts in her hair. Okay. The color du jour is provincial, apparently.
It's okay. I painted everything white earlier.
Well, it's not like it's all going to live at the same house, so it's fine. If you're batch painting stuff, it's just easier to not use every color under the rainbow. I am going to paint these, but I'm going to wait till this is dry, screw them back in, and then, well, yeah, and then I'll paint them. Can you see the rolling pins again? Sure. I got to let this dry. Okay, so this is with the floral one. What is that one called, Zeb?
I don't know what the floral one's called.
This is ephemeral, I believe. They come out with so many products.
I've got it right here.
Stamps.
It's nope.
From Iron Orchid Design.
No, this is double.
And then here's Charlotte.
I don't know. It doesn't say on this piece. Oh, I have it right here.
What is it called?
Garden bouquet.
There you go. That's pretty accurate of what it actually is. Sometimes they name stuff and I'm like, where did you get that name from? Where did they?
Okay.
You do not need a heat gun. In fact, I don't recommend it, but I don't want to work on something else. I want to finish this project. Vicky says, I can't stop using juniper on everything. It is such a good color.
It's my favorite.
Such a good color.
All the greens, really. I love green. Blue greens, too. They count.
Yeah, if you have a piece of furniture and you want to make molds, we sell amazing putty. That's a 2-part putty, and you just put it on the piece, and you can make your own molds if you've got something that you really love and you want to recreate. And what I love about using putty to make molds as opposed to like a board molds is you can use it like on a vertical surface. We actually once, somebody had a piece of furniture for sale. This was a long time ago. We didn't have a ton of money, and I really wanted that mold. And I messaged them and said, hey, would you mind if I came over and just made a mold of that? And they were like, sure, no problem. So they let me go over to their house. They hadn't sold yet. And Zeb took a mold of it, and we have it. What is steampunk? It's like a design style that's kind of like turn of the century.
It reminds me of like Victorian with industrial.
Modern industrial vibes in it. It's kind of weird. I don't know how to... You'd have to Google it to get
Sometimes
it exactly.
it has like sci-fi vibes.
Yeah. It's not my jam, but far be it for me to deny other people their jam.
Hey, you don't want to be keeping jam from people.
No, you.
What if it's strawberry jam and people were withholding it from you?
Yeah, I love strawberry jam, but maybe other people want plum. Neo-Victorian is what it's called. Not every DIY retailer carries a cottage color, so if it's something that you want, you can get it at JamieRayVintage.com or let them know. Be like, hey, I really like this, and I will buy it if you have it. I shouldn't have done that.
Oh, no, you're gonna have to paint more.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have to paint a 3rd coat. It's fine. It was like puddling up, and it was never gonna dry. We're gonna give it a minute, and then I'm gonna coat it again. What's the best paint for plastic? Like
what kind of plastic?
Like that frame I just painted was plastic, and I used DIY or cottage color. It'll be fine. If it's like outdoor plastic furniture, I would just buy plastic spray paint for that. Flying mechanical ships, fashion of the Victoria area with updated technology. There used to be like a lot of like steampunk type movies. I think it's less popular than it used to be. Did I take an art class like Zeb? Nope. Does kindergarten coloring count?
Yeah, it does. It's all creative.
But I've always loved crafting, so it's definitely in my blood. My mom used to do crafts at church, and I'm right-handed, but my brain is very much kind of in the middle, same like Zeb. And I would say that that's definitely true because Zeb and I are both right-handed, but out of 5 children,
You have 3.
3 of our children are left-handed, and only my mother and my sister Renee are left-handed in our family. So I think it's because Zeb and I are kind of right in the middle of left and right.
I can use both of my hands. Like if I hurt my right arm, I can do most tasks with my left.
Yeah, and you'll see me if I'm painting a big piece of furniture, I will totally use my right hand.
Our son Harrington uses both for a lot of things. Like short of writing, I think he uses both hands about the same. But he's lefty when he's writing, so.
You want to paint your kitchen cupboards a brass bronze color? We don't have a color that would match that. Or are you wanting it like a color but not actually brass and bronze? I don't know. You could go copper, or golden ticket is a great patina. Your best bet is send a picture of what you have, send a picture of what you want it to look like, and email those both to info@jamierayvintage.com. Oh, that's pretty.
Yeah, that worked out good. This paper is available. This is the Pastoral River.
Because if I see what you want to do and what you have, then I can give you some better advice. And Caitlin linked the Pastoral River paper above. Okay, I mostly got this dry. I'm going to
look. I got enough to do 2 5x7s.
Yeah, one sheet of rice paper will do 2 5x7s. Just depends on where you're cutting it off at.
I'm gonna go check my gold outside. Are
All
you
right,
coming
sorry,
back
I'm
soon?
not on camera though.
You better come back quick. They're gonna miss you.
Okay. I'm gonna use the Delft Traditions inlay. We'll see how this works. I haven't done an inlay in cottage color in a while. You use this all over one. I probably should have cut this before I painted that. Oh, can you fix the camera?
Oh, yep.
In case you're new here, Zeb doesn't like it when I fix the camera. In case you're wondering why I'm always asking.
She can't see the button on which one to touch. It's up on the top of the camera, and I got to stand on my tippy toes to see it because we have the tripod pretty tall.
This is Delft Traditions Azure. I haven't really had time to play with all of the new inlays. How many inlays did we get, Caitlin? I know this also comes in black. Do we just get 2, or is there a 3rd inlay that I'm
No, that's just those
somehow
2.
missing? I don't see. Yeah, I think it just comes in black and blue. All right, perfect. Now, if you use this in cottage color or you put it into liquid patina, you're not going to be able to use it twice because of the built-in sealer. Or maybe you can, but it's going to look weird. Okay, so it just comes. So this particular inlay also comes in black. If you guys are on Facebook, please hit that share button. It helps us get our video out to everybody in the Facebook world. YouTube just kind of pushes it out as more people comment and get engaged with the video. But Facebook likes it when people are engaged too, but they really like it if people share it. So if we're doing something and you like it, tell us, because that helps the algorithm know we're entertaining. Okay, I'm just setting this down in here. You laugh, but it's true. Now, you're supposed to use a mister bottle, but y'all know that I don't ever have one handy. I just use a washcloth because I always have a washcloth in the kitchen sink. May not always be clean, but there's always one here. In the back of the stamp. And we're going to just wait about 5 minutes, get it damp again, and pull it back. And the reason for that is because this has a built-in sealer. So you cannot let it dry all the way or you will be sad. Alexa, set a timer for 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Where's the brayer? Is this brayer dry?
Yeah,
it's stuck to your plate, so it's definitely dry.
I gotta wash it. Gotta scrub it.
Oh no, it's got. Let's try. Okay. So just to really just make sure this is adhered, I'm going to use my brayer and go over it. You don't have to brayer.
Oh, that's going to be really good.
I hope so. We're about to find out.
I'm just over here grabbing a stencil.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint the bottom of this, dry it, paint the bottom again, and stick it in a glass. So that way when I screw it onto my piece, I don't have to paint near where the inlay is and possibly get paint where I don't want it.
Actually.
Sorry, I set your Alexa, Leslie.
Well, she'll know when 5 minutes is up.
Yeah. Occasionally I set the Alexa and my kids are like, oh, I just turned it off. I'm like, don't turn off my alarms. There's a reason. I may not always remember when they go off what that reason is, but I remember eventually. I have way too much paint on this. I'm going to use this little brush to.
I think I'm going to do a layout. I think I'm going to do it.
You're going to do a layout? You're not going to just take it as it comes?
Yeah, I mean, I love just grabbing these and using them, but we're
So Zeb painted that in Skeleton Key earlier.
This is Skeleton Key in the DIY. We'll call it the original formula, the clay base.
They said your completed picture is awesome.
Well, thanks.
Leslie, your box is bigger. Your box is the one that we did on the live video this morning. The black with the ephemeral stamp. Unless you bought the red box too, but I thought you bought the black box. I hope it's not the blue box because we're going to go floral, and I know your box is for your grandson. I might want to double check on that.
It's all just paint.
I know, but I don't want to paint it twice.
You gonna look real quick before I slap this on here?
I'm going to stick my situation here in a canning jar. Oops. I painted down too far. Oh, well. Say, Libby. Okay, what was I doing? Oh, grab this. Sometimes I have to talk to myself and be like, what was I doing? Yeah, Leslie, you have the large wood crate. So it's the bigger one that we did this morning for channel membership. So that one's already done. Okay, Leslie says I'm right. All right. That's fine.
Oops, had the lid on it still. So lately I've been, instead of patting, I've just been rubbing my stamp pad on here. I find I get a lot better coverage with the ink, and I don't have like light spots.
Oh, that does not. I need something more shallow.
I don't want my flowers floating, so I made sure the stems are off the bottom.
Went up too high on that too. Zeb is using the garden bouquet stamp. And he's putting it with black Iron Orchid Designs permanent ink over the top of Skeleton Key. I have 46 seconds left to remove my inlay, so I'm not going to get started on something else. Today has been delightful weather-wise, though. We've been overcast in like the 80s, and it's been such a nice change because it was so cold when we were in the Uintas, and we came home and it was like a shock to my system how hot it was.
There's like heat coming off the pavement and
14 seconds. Alexa, off. Alexa, off. Alexa, turn off alarm. There we go. Alexa, off. Oh, it's a timer, not alarm. She's like, you don't have an alarm.
Sassy.
Alexa, don't get sassy with me. Alexa, off. Gravy. Okay. Getting it damp again. Hopefully it inlays into my paint. I haven't done this in a while. All right, let's see. That doesn't look the way I want it to. I think I had my paint too thick. What do you think?
Maybe. Paint it again real quick and do it again. You have another cut of that?
Maybe I need to let it sit on there longer.
Mine worked out.
Seb's like, I win.
I'm going to distress the edges.
I don't know. I'm using Provincial.
Did you not let it dry long enough, or were you trying to
thought
catch
5
it?
minutes would, yeah, I was trying to catch it before it dried all the way.
I think it needed to get tackier.
Yeah, I feel like it wasn't ready.
It was too wet still.
We're going to try it one more time. What the hey? And then if that doesn't work, then I'll just paint over it and put DIY paint on there. They said that that is a huge improvement from the red crate.
Yeah. Some of the red will peek back through, but that's fine. It goes fine with that.
Maybe I should put it outside in the sun for 5 minutes.
There you go. It needs to mostly be dry, because if it's fresh and you get it wet, and like you did, because that was pretty sopping wet with your little towel situation, then I think it's going to come off how it's supposed to. Let's see, I had another project I was doing. Here, we're going to bring these back.
It works perfectly in DIY paint. I'm tempted to just do that, but I really want to see if I can make it work. So
I'm going to borrow your rag for a minute.
Okay, I'll allow it. I'll share my rag with you. All right, where did I do in my scraps? I'm willing to, provincial paint is not blue, it's taupe. It's a brown gray. It probably looks blue, especially on here because I just had that inlay in it and the inlay is blue. Skeleton key is definitely a blue gray. Depending on what it's by, we'll change the color of it.
Yeah, if it's like evening time or morning, it looks really gray. In broad daylight, it's kind of like a bluish gray tone.
Okay, try this again. If at first you don't succeed, try again and possibly fail.
Try again.
Okay.
All right, don't get in your head now. Just go.
I'm fine. I am going to need my rag back, though. Oh,
I'm going
now
to
it's
rinse
all-
it out.
well, I need it.
Like right this second?
Yeah. Do we have, let me see if I have another one before I.
Not down here, we don't. I know we do upstairs.
It's fine. When in doubt, use a paper towel.
So you could sand these. I like to do a wet distress because a wet distress kind of emulates like hands and people and where it would wear, because it's just catching the high points with my hand on here. Whereas a sander might just scuff or flatten out details.
Alexa, set a timer for 6.5 minutes.
Now you're setting it out in the heat. Did you set it out there last time?
No, but I'm going to try that.
But you might want to just keep with 5 minutes. See what happens. All right, gonna let those dry. This one is just gonna get clear waxed. These are gonna, I think I'm gonna dark wax these ones.
All right, so this, do you have something for it?
Are you doing anything on the frame?
No, I actually like the frame.
Let me.
I do need to touch up that where it's broken.
Let me see if my prints are done downstairs.
Okay.
Got some more.
This came
test
from my
prints.
friend Betty. It's actually not bad. Original price $49.99, but it looks a little fake to me, so I want to put something else in there. Oh, you were asking about skeleton key. Yeah, so skeleton key is definitely a blue gray, but if you add dark wax, that'll make it look more gray and taupe than blue. I'd love to keep watching, but your constant Alexa directions are screwing up my device. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll stop talking to her. I am going to have to tell her to go off one more time, but then I will not use her. Oh, no. There we go. All right, you know what we should do? Because you can name it a different name. We should name it something else. And then it won't mess with everybody's devices. Oh, this is not going all the way across.
Do you have scissors? Do you have the scissors somewhere?
Do I have the scissors? Yes. There you go. What is the name of the paint I'm using? I'm using Provincial. That's by Cottage Color. Has a built-in sealer.
Whoops.
That just knocked me over. It is a little bit tricky with an inlay, but I'm trying it out to see if I can get it to work. Because I like to torture myself. Right now, I'm just taking the back off of this so we can get new art in it. Which print do you love? Depends on what it is. We have some of the stuff, like what Zeb's doing is a new prototype. So
this, I definitely am going to have to change these. I don't like how that came out.
how what?
I mean, it's okay. This is, if you guys remember, I did our bathroom vanity
Oh yeah.
a little while ago in one of these. I believe it was this one with the blue in it. I changed the colors some, but this is on rice paper and the colors did not print out the same. So I got to fix some stuff.
I think your dogs need to go out.
He's all scaredy pants now because I knocked those.
Oh,
He ran out of here because I knocked those cutting boards over.
there we go. Is Anvil a cottage color? Yes. Anvil is our black, which is not a super harsh black. It's a little bit of a soft black. If you want to deepen it up, you could dark or black wax over the top of it. But yeah, I don't like it. I do like a black sometimes, but sometimes I want something a little less harsh, and that's how we did.
I'm going to set these over here. These you probably just use a little portion of this, and then we can use another one for those square paintings down there.
Can you just cut out what you want?
Yeah.
But, well, are you gonna? No, I mean, like, can you do it?
Oh, right now?
Yeah.
Let me see your picture, and I'll use that as my template. But hold on, I need to move some. I got all this wax. And
Yeah, I didn't want to do it because my space is messy.
my space is messy.
Yes, the paper that Deb is showing you, we are working on. But we always like to use all of our stuff, even when we're
nothing set in stone. So don't. I don't want to break your heart and be like, oh yeah, that paper's coming.
You know what, Zeb? Part of me is like, maybe I should.
I really did love the inside of that. Like I got this for the bead inside.
But I don't want to paint the bead in the inside. I think I might just gold wax the outside frame a little. We'll see.
Do we need to wash the glass on that?
Not the inside. It was completely sealed in by this situation that was on here. So we're going to have to put new brown paper on the back when we're done.
That's easy. Okay. Which one do you want to do? This is in our bathroom. This is its friend.
The one on your right, my left.
So the bathroom one?
You ordered that along with the paint inlay. You're guessing you should not use them together. Are you talking about provincial and the paint inlay? I would suggest DIY paint with the paint inlays. I am trying it out, so you'll see how it works, but it is a little bit tricky because of the built-in sealer. But I'm not afraid to make a mistake so that we can see in real time what happens. This has not been listed, this frame from Betty. It was in the garage in our stash. All right, I'm gonna go check. How much time do I have?
What happened to my pencil?
I have 33 seconds. I'm gonna go whisper with my mic off so it doesn't mess with your guys' thing.
It always cracks me up when she whispers back.
Remind me to put my mic on when I get back.
We probably could have almost used a rice paper on this. The A4. I guess this is rice paper too, the A4 size. I don't know what size we're calling this, medium.
So I think this time it works. It's not all the way dry. Let me get my mic on. Okay, so I think that worked. It's not all the way dry. I peeled up a little corner to see. You don't want it to be all the way dry because the top coat will totally decoupage your inlay into your paper. Where's my, oh, that paper towel. and get this damp again, so that way I can release it. And I think I might have got some inlay where I didn't want it, so I'll have to repaint over the edge. It became opaque, but not completely dry. And now, oh yeah, that's working great. Okay, not perfect, but significantly better. You can see this one is still sopping wet. I had way too much paint on it, and I didn't wait long enough. So I did 6 minutes outside, and I don't want it to like, and this is what I got. So that worked great. I'm going to go ahead and paint around this lip here, because I did not want the inlay on the lip, but it just kind of blew over in the wind. Then we'll let it dry. And then I will go ahead and seal it up, the paint inlay, because even though the sealer, like the paint has a built-in sealer, the inlay needs to be sealed. So I think the trick is you want it to just barely be opaque, but not the paint underneath dry all the way if you're using the cottage color. Because it definitely didn't work when it was not dry enough. And that dry time will definitely vary depending on humidity and temperatures in your area.
Oh, that's way better.
Oh, yeah.
So it works. You just got to see, her 5-minute timer was not enough.
Well, and this went outside. So I did 6.5 minutes and I put it outside.
What was this attached to? Was it just taped on here, Jamie?
It was just brown paper. Oh, yeah, that was just taped on with some. Okay. We have some archival tape.
Is it that serious?
I mean, I don't know. Is it that serious? I'm going to second coat this bottom. I just got on, what paint color is that? This is Provincial, which is a taupe. I'm just going to use this brush. It holds a lot of paint, and it seems to be putting too much paint on this little tiny piece. So I'm going to use this little brush. Thanks, Paula. She says she loves it. You can't be that serious when you're trying new stuff out. I highly suggest thrift flip projects like this, and small pieces of inlay at a time. Like I used 1/4 of a sheet and screwed up. That's not that critical. If I'm painting a $100 antique and I've got $50 of paint and I've got all 8 sheets of the inlay on my piece, that's a huge investment of time and money, and I haven't practiced enough with it. Whereas this was $1.50 at the thrift store, and you know, a scrap of inlay and a little bit of paint, so it's not the end of the world. So I'm going to paint the top of this, let it dry, and then second coat the top of it.
I don't know what happened to the dispenser, but the dispenser is gone on this tape.
I need a second coat that. Lori says she's watching us while waiting for dinner. It's relaxing. Thank you.
Hopefully dinner's going to be awesome.
Yeah. Did we pick up blue and white transfer? Yes. So I do have some Courier and Ives, larger plates, and 1 large plate, 2 small plates, and it will be up for sale on Saturday's thrift haul. So everything that we picked yesterday will go up on Saturday. We still have a decent amount from last week. So if you haven't checked it out, definitely check our thrift finds and thrift flips collection on our website. We have hundreds and hundreds of items that have not sold that are in our shop ready for a new home. But every Saturday we add more.
All right, I think I've almost got this taped on. We'll have to get some brown paper and tape the back.
Amber says that her Alexa never listens to her. Mine in my room is a little sassy.
Jamie must have like Jamie always has to tell Alexa 4 or 5 times what she wants it to do. And I just, something in her voice doesn't pick up.
My voice carries, which is, you know, interestingly enough.
But not
to
for
me.
Alexa ears.
No. You can kind of see some of the blue coming through from the first inlay that I painted over. So I'm just kind of drying the top of this so I can second coat it. And then I'm going to put it outside. Yeah. Zella said I'm using my inlay on smalls too. Yeah, it's the best way to start because it's not as much pressure to get it right. We get a lot of people that say I'm painting a family heirloom. I've never painted anything before. Do you have any suggestions? And I'm like, first of all, don't paint your family heirloom until you practiced. Second of all, be patient with yourself. And lastly, if you screw up, will you be devastated? Because if that's the case, don't ever start a piece of furniture that if you screw up, you're going to be devastated, because painting is fluid. Like we can't always anticipate everything that will happen because these pieces have lived a long life. We don't know exactly what they're made of. We don't know exactly what may or may not be on the piece. There's a lot of variables. My puppy, oh yeah, that's Cody. He's on the lounger out back. He's the reason there's paw prints all over my pretty new black and white covers. Luckily, I got them at the at-home store and they were like $35 a piece, maybe. I was so shocked. We bought those, what do we pay, $200 for all 5 loungers?
Yeah, we got them off like Marketplace or something.
And they needed new cushions, so I went online to go look at new cushions because I don't sew. And I was just shocked at the prices. I was like, you want $100 or $200 for a cushion? So at home, they're not like the fanciest cushions, but they'll work. And I'm not devastated when the dogs get them dirty.
When Cody goes for a prance.
Yeah, he's a prancy dog. Okay, we're going outside. I'm going to go check on my mirror. It's probably still wet because there was some really thick paint in spots.
Okay, so this was hung differently. And I swapped it around. There we have it. So a little bit different art. The other one was kind of oil painting-esque. This is more like encyclopedia style.
Oh, I like that so much better. Here's the art that was in it. It's not bad, but the art originally was textured. And so it was on this shiny piece of paper, and I didn't like it. It looks cheap to me.
Do you want me to wax this?
Yeah, a little gold wax because it's got a little bit of a chip. Here's my frame that we started.
Are you going to wax that?
No, I've got to second coat it. I probably won't wax it until either later today or tomorrow because I like my clay to be all the way dry.
It's hard to wipe back. You lose a lot of the detail if you wipe it or wax
I could dry brush it, but I'm not going to mess with it. Are you done with these here that you put on my side?
They need waxed.
Okay. I was going to put them over here.
So this is a wood frame with plaster, which is why I bought it.
If you ever have like an orangey gold, I really like using a golden ticket over it because it kind of tones that back.
So
I actually need to use it on that frame.
So this is golden rule wax.
Golden rule wax, sorry. I need to use it on the frame in our family room. The Jesus frame. Because that's real orangey. And I just hung it because I was like, oh, I'll get to it eventually. Eventually hasn't happened yet.
And it had a couple little chips because it's plaster, and now those are gold again.
All right, Caitlin said she'll be back in a minute. And Cortrina says, nice, Seb. I think I might have to do 3 coats in some areas on this because this was like a shiny plastic. And that's always harder to get good coverage. Slick.
All right, I got one more little frame that I painted gold. Oh.
What item is this, Rose? This is a mirror that I put some molds on earlier that we have listed on our website. I'll show you the before because I actually have another mirror I haven't done yet. Similar. So this is the frame. This is what it looked like. Seb, can you fix camera? Yep. This is what it looked like before. And I used IOD clay and molds. And I'm using provincial paint to give it a new look. And if you want to see the finished look of this frame, you'll have to make sure you follow along on social media because I will be letting this dry overnight. And I will come back tomorrow and either wax it or dry brush it or whatever to make the detail pop. Because the clay is still very wet.
Okay, that needs more backer.
Would the moldings follow? So if the molding is followed off, you can make if the molding you have somewhere else, you can make a mold over it and repair it. We have a giraffe video somewhere where Zeb made a mold. So you could kind of watch that one. Or if you're not skilled in making molds and are afraid you won't get it just right, you could just use clay and molds and then just put molds right over the top of it. Just give it a whole new look. Because like this piece had a little bit of design on it, and I went ahead and put molds over the top. It had these little curly cues.
I need some thickness.
Some thickness.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need thickness?
Because it's showing through.
Oh, gotcha.
See if this works. It may not. I have to run upstairs and get some cardstock, but I think that'll be too thick.
Paper towels are coming in clutch today. When your clay dries all the way, you may have to come back, like if it cracks or whatever, and paint over the top of it some more. So keep that in mind. If you're like if you had mixed a paint color, make sure you save a little for the next day. Painting a plastic medication bottle, you could just use cottage color on that if you wanted to make it look like if you were upcycling it. One of my favorite things to do if I'm worried about adhesion is to use Salvation Solution. It's the primer by DIY Paint that we carry at jamierayvintage.com. It's amazing. It works similar to like a shellac primer, like shellac-based primer, except for it's water-based. So you can use it inside. You can brush it on small little things. You can wash it with soap and water out of your paintbrush. Whereas and shellac-based primer is stinky. You have to wear a respirator. You can't use it inside, and you have to use something special, wash it out of your brush. So the DIY Salvation Solution is amazing for that.
All right, so I decided to leave this gold and not wax it because I liked it. It kind of brought it back to about what it was originally and got rid of like that ding and scratch up top here. So it's a little bit of a ding, but I can live with that.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. It's better than it was for sure. I like that. So it's the horse paper is one that we're working on too, right? Do you guys like horses? Comment and let us know because we're working on some horse paper. Coming up with that design.
I've been trying to work in some bicycle stuff, but Jamie is not big on the bicycle stuff I have, so you'll have to let us know.
I like bicycles. I'm just
comment
not
if you need a
sold on
bike.
what we come up with.
Comment if you need some bicycle paper. Because a lot of what we make is based off of what you guys say you want.
Or just what I want.
Also what Jamie wants.
Or what Zeb wants. But it's got to be able to be sellable, you know? Like if people aren't buying it, we ain't making it.
I'm not going to take the time to design it if I'm only going to sell like 20. because we have to sell a lot of the papers to make it worth the design.
If you're wondering why I'm using 2 brushes, it's because this has a lot of detail. So I'm using this little brush to get down into all the nooks and crannies. And the big brush is covering the big surface.
Where'd you go with the rest of these?
Behind you.
Oh.
Amy says yes, bicycles. Cheryl says she likes dogs.
Oh.
I think dogs would be okay. Maybe on like a smaller rice paper.
So I typically
don't know that
do like old prints.
So maybe some hound dogs.
Yeah, so that's a lot of stuff that dogs are in, like they're either working their butts off or they're hunting their butts off.
But either way, they have no butts. What are you
Either
trying to
way,
say?
they're working. Like dogs in old time paintings, they were all
Small labels paper. That would be
Oh.
good. Like things that you could put like on a medicine bottle to upcycle it.
I see.
So I'm just, if you're wondering what I'm doing here, I'm just pouncing the paint in to get into all the cracks because this clay is still very much malleable. And if I push too hard, I'm going to lose the detail. It's like a very fine line between getting the paint on there while it's still wet so it doesn't crack and then not smooshing it. Ginger says that mirror is beautiful. I gave away 2 plain oval mirrors and wish I hadn't. I've been waiting for these molds to come in. I've had them for a while. I didn't know I was waiting for them, but then as soon as these molds came in, and then I saw, I can't remember who it was. Wish I could. I shared her work and tagged her, but I saw her do a gold mirror with these, and I was like, oh yeah, I need to do that.
Okay, that one's done. Clear wax is all it's getting. This is also the same as the rabbit back here with the DIY white swan, the clay-based white swan. It has such a great plaster feel to it, the clay-based paint. Like when it's dry, even before you wax it.
All right.
Like if you're a texture person, you'll know what I'm talking about.
I'm going to just leave this to dry because it really needs to dry well before I do any more paint to it. But I think I got it pretty well covered. So we'll have to say goodbye to my mirror. You probably won't see it again in this live video because it's going to take a hot minute to dry. But
You did a lot of stuff to it though. The molds, the painting again.
yeah, we've got 2 coats on there. I'm going to let it dry. I'll do 1 more coat before I go to bed. And then I'm going to either wax it or dry brush it. But not till tomorrow. Cortrina says she's a horse lover. I would say you are too. We didn't even get to Cortrina's. We're definitely going to have to do painting on the end of tomorrow's video.
Well, I don't
because
have.
we're not
I
gonna
need to
get
go
it.
get a dowel. I forgot. I was in Home Depot earlier this morning
Oh,
and I
yeah.
forgot the dowel.
Can you open that door for me real
Yeah.
quick? Or you want to just take this out there?
Yeah,
Can
I'll
you
just carry it for you.
can you gingerly carry that? I got a third coated anyways. Did you wipe back the clear wax before using gold or dark wax? I don't think you did today,
No.
did you?
I did not.
Okay, I think I'm done with the provincial, so I'm going to put this in water, and then I'm going to work on the other frame. I'm probably not going to get the other frame painted, but I'm going to get my molds on here. So my question is, what is that? Oh, Adelia's got glasses ordered. My question is, should I do just floral, you think, and not a bow? Zebulon?
Yeah, I think that would be good.
That's his. I don't really care.
Or you could make a match. Think you could pull
Not
that
that you
off?
don't care. Anything goes. That's what. we'll
Now
go with
that I don't care. Excuse me. It's been a lot of talking today.
Dawn. I'm guessing it's Dawn. Yeah, she's on Felix's account. Says hunting dogs. Cortrina's a horse lover. Tanya wants more bunnies.
So just so you know, every time we do a new paper these days, we have enough papers in the lineup. I'm retiring some, so careful what you wish for. The more designs we come out, the more are getting retired.
Which one are you going to be willing to let go of?
Yeah. And I retire based off of what sells the best. So I'm going to go look through that and see what gets retired here in the next week, and we'll let you know what didn't make the cut.
All right, so this is the oak leaves. I haven't used this one yet. I think I'm going to use oak leaves and then put floral with the oak leaves, like big leaves and flowers. Brand new out of the package. I'm trying to work my way through all the new stuff. I still have yet to use the fairies and the other gold transfer, but I think other than that, we will then have used all of them. Don't retire the bunnies. The bunnies are hands down #1 seller of all time.
Yeah, and they've only been out since like March.
By leaps and bounds. So bunnies aren't going anywhere. I'm going to use this one. So the nice thing about the IOD molds is they have this rim you can push the clay up against. And then they also, if you're really good about measuring, will tell you how much resin or whatever you're putting in there by grams each particular one takes up. You can also use these molds for food. They go up to, I think, 350 degrees. We've actually tested them a little higher. You can use them for chocolate arts, fondant, whatever. You just can't go back and forth. You don't want to put clay in it and food states.
I've even used them with silver solder.
Yeah. Silver solder is definitely an off-label use, but we made it work.
Aaron approved it. I'm going to go with that.
He didn't approve it. Aaron did it first. Aaron is Josie's husband.
Aaron showed me the idea, and I'm like, yeah, I'm doing that.
Amy says maybe vintage French shoppers. That's bougie.
So I have a really great print. This gal looks like she's straight from Jersey in the early or late 1800s, early 1900s. And she's leading like a couple of horses that I have the licensing for. I like it. I'm going to run it by Jamie. I always run everything by Jamie because, let's be honest, she's got a good eye for what's going to be popular.
Or I don't. Let's not forget I made the angel paper that I still love, by the way, which wasn't super popular.
It's still hanging in our bathroom.
Yeah, I like it, but it wasn't that popular.
It's a lot of red, which even for you is surprising to me.
It was like hot pink-ish. I don't know.
No, it's red. It's red and like black and gold.
It's hot pink. Okay,
these are done. I'm just clear waxing this one. The dark coming through gives me that two-tone that I want. Anytime I do gold these days, especially with white, I'm throwing in some dark wax to add the age.
That is not what I meant to happen.
And this had gold leafing, so it really shines through on that.
There was paint on that, and it stuck to my clay, and my clay rolled around my brayer. If you're just tuning in, I used cornstarch on this mold before I put my clay in to help release it, and it released it a little too well. That's why I just rolled right off with my brayer. How are you doing on those
mirrors? I've knocked out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If you count the cloche 9.
What are you talking about?
I'm pulling a Jamie and knocking projects out.
Well, I did 4 rolling pins. You just did the stamping on them.
That was earlier.
And I did that. And clay work takes time. It's not about quantity. It's about quality.
It is about the quality.
And I did that tray. You want to show them the tray? The tray is a almost perfected stencil that's going to be released soon. We have a few tweaks. I want a center done in the center one. We had to kind of do a faux one, but
you guys are seeing all the fun stuff today.
Okay, let's try this again.
Because we've been talking about it, this is Leslie's box. Tote, whatever we're calling it.
Okay, well, now I got it out. Oh, great. Caitlin got the revision pics. When we get off live, I need to play some more with some of the other stencils just to make sure we're not getting any more revisions. I love designing, but the back and forth perfecting of things is not my jam. I do it, but it's not my favorite.
That's what's nice about the paper. If there's something we don't like, I can fix it usually in about 10 minutes.
I mean, all my stuff is made in the USA, and I have a small manufacturer doing it, so that is nice.
So this does need distressed and wax still, so it's not quite done.
Oh, so you can get all your projects finished?
No, not quite.
It's all right. I told myself that I was just going to play and have fun with clay, and I wasn't going to be worried about quantity, which is why my stuff didn't get done. What did I do with my mold? You moved my mold. Did I have it in your way?
Did I? Where was it? Was it over here? If it was over here, this is my space.
Well, I didn't put it over there. I think you put it over there.
What color should we do on this? What do you think?
What?
I got the little rocking horse.
Well, you could do it. I was going to do a provincial.
Okay.
And if you need a little brush, it's in the water. Just kind of pounce it
this
off.
one's got a bum leg, so I can open it up and
yeah, that'll make that a lot easier. A little brush will probably still be helpful, more helpful than that big brush, because that is a small horse. Sherry says she's working on stuff she started 2 years ago. Listen, we're still working on this house that we started 5 years ago. So there is no timeline to when projects have to be all the way done. And even when they're done, then sometimes you reinvent it. Kind of like Zeb's been writing a book for 20 years and he's changed it 3 times.
You know, I've changed it probably 10, but I'm knocking it out right now. It's gonna get done.
It's gonna be popular, and I'm gonna be a kept woman.
Sure.
It's our running joke around here. He's like, you would get bored.
Where do you have the provincial?
I'm like, we have yet to be determined if I would be bored. Something smells good. Did you use soap?
I rinsed this brush out.
No. Those French-looking blue bikes with flowers are awesome. That's what Deborah said. I probably should preface that with what I'm reading. So if I look over here and I say something, I'm probably reading a comment. For decoupage paper, I use DIY paints, liquid patina and crystal clear chandelier. It's the best I've ever used. I'm not just saying that because I sell it. I've used a lot. I've been decoupaging for a while.
It works on the rice paper or the tissue paper. We have, Jimmy and I were talking about the other day, we have like a bunch of designs in the tissue paper. And I'm like, let's just retire them all. And she's like, no, some of them are still pretty good. But we need to use them. We haven't used them since we've been coming out with rice paper for like the last year. We've used them maybe once or twice, but they're big. They're like 20 inches by 30 inches and they cover a lot of space.
They're not as crisp because it's tissue paper, but they're still really awesome. Cortrina says, I need ideas to use the large IOD pumpkin mold. You know, I think that's really cute. Just like put on plaques, you know, like wood plaques and paint them. And I think it'd be cute to make it look like the heirloom variety of pumpkins, like those blue and the cream ones, because I know that fits kind of your decor style. That's a nice thing about when you're using molds and things that you can paint, you can make it match whatever your decor is. It doesn't have to be generic. And your seasonal decor can match your everyday decor. Ginger says, I love the rice paper. Yeah, the rice paper also like loses a lot of wrinkles. You do have to be careful not to overwork it because it's fibrous, right? You overwork it, you're going to ruin the paper. Most people don't, but there are a few people that I like to call nervous crafters, and they overwork everything. They overwork their paint, they overwork their paper. Like, step away. If if you start to overwork it, just like take a 5-minute break, have a snack, come back. I didn't realize that people.
I was telling you about that inlay. I'm like, don't overthink it. Just let it go dry out there.
Well, it's, you know, when we've used DIY paint forever, and we started getting people saying, "Oh, it's pulling off the second coat." And I was like, I've never had that happen, and I realized it's because I have a really loose wrist when I paint. I don't push too hard. I don't overwork the paint. I just paint and move on. But if you push really hard, you'll pull up that first coat of paint, and that had never happened to me because of the way that I craft. So it was a new situation. Oh, I like that.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
I like that.
I'll show it to you guys up close.
Not gonna lie, I like that better than the bow. Not a big bow guy over here.
You're not a big bow guy?
Nope.
Question is, do we want the leaves on the bottom or the top? Oh, I think I want them on the bottom. Okay.
So back to my earlier conversation. Some of you may have been here the whole time. Some it might be a brand new conversation for you. Logo.
Some of you may have forgot the conversation.
Logo, yeah, you've already forgotten. Logo for the farm situation. We'll call it that. I also have been looking at like antique grain sacks and playing with some of those ideas. I'm thinking like a laurel wreath. So the hard thing with logos is you can make them way too busy and complicated way too fast. I like more of a simple logo where the design itself like moves your eye across the logo and it's memorable. But I also want it to be really cool because I'm probably going to be stuck with it for the next 40 years of my life.
Oh, you used my, oh no, there it is. I was like, did you use my brush? I used my brush.
This little horse is surprisingly the hardest thing I've painted all day.
The paint that's on it is really slick. And so the paint's not really adhering well, huh?
Well, it's going to be fine once I get a coat on here, but it's just all the little angles and you think you got it. And then you're like, oh, I missed that whole leg on the inside.
Angela says, I resemble that remark, nervous crafter, but you two help me with all your suggestions and ideas.
I think the hardest thing about crafting is just like letting go and just letting the art be what it is and just, just winging it.
I also think like for us, it's easy to say, well, you could just try again or use more paint because we have a lot of products. We retail them or we manufacture them. But I do know like when I was first starting out, money was really tight. And so if I had to redo something, I was always really sad. So I got really nervous. And so it's like a balance between like, you don't want to waste product, but you also need to be able to allow yourself to make mistakes, because if you don't allow yourself to make mistakes, you'll never have happy little accidents. Is that what Bob Ross says?
Yeah. I like to think of it as like paying your dues.
Yeah.
If you want to get good at anything, there's going to be a price involved, whether that price is your time and energy and effort or materials wasted because you had to make mistakes to learn.
Yeah, we've had a lot of people say, how come you charge so much for the stuff you paint? Because you just paint it so quick and move on. I'm like, well, here's the thing. I had to paint a lot of things, screw up a lot of things, and paint a lot of hours to get as fast as I am at painting. I didn't just one day wake up. So it's kind of like when you go to somebody the longer somebody's been doing hair, or a dentist who's masterful at creating caps or whatever, you pay more for that. I'm not saying I'm a masterful painter, but I am fast because I've done a lot.
It's that old story of like the diesel mechanic that like went and everybody had been working on it, couldn't figure out the problem. He walks in there 2 minutes later, he grabs a hammer out, hits the thing with a hammer, and it's running. And then he's like, here's the bill. And it's like astronomical. It's like a huge bill. And it took him 3 minutes to fix the problem. And they're like, well, I'm not paying that. They're like, you're not paying for the hammer whack. You're paying for the fact that I knew where to whack it.
I don't know that anybody here has heard that adage before.
Oh, really? I see it all the time. My dad used it on me.
I was like, that sounds like a Lynn Ray situation. Yeah, Zeb's brother Tyrell is a good mechanic, and Zeb can usually figure it out, but Ty can figure it out faster because he does it a lot.
Yep, that's what he does for a living. He's a heavy diesel mechanic.
So there's little leaves on the Felicity mold that I'm using kind of on the outside to build my decor that I'm doing on here. I think I'm just going to do something simple on here and then have it a little heavier on the bottom. The other one was heavier on the top, light on the bottom.
You know, that same concept applies to like pretty much all aspects of life. I think my mom, you know, I've seen her like mess with pie crust for like 10 minutes to get it just right. And she just whips it out and you think it's going to be this gross, gloopy mess that tastes like rubber, and it comes out of the oven. It's magical.
Well, it's kind of like me making bread. Although every now and then my bread doesn't turn out, and there is not a faster way to make my day go awry than to have my bread not turn out, because I've been making it for so long. But it's usually pretty simple. I have to be really distracted, or the humidity has to be off, because I'm used to cooking it in a not humid environment.
All right, I got to walk away from this streaky horse.
That horse was not raw wood. Somebody was asking. It was painted white.
It was someone had painted it white before, and it's like a glossy white. So we'll see how many coats I have to put on this. I did not prime it or sand it first.
I think 3 coats, you'll be good.
I'll be all day putting 3 coats on this thing.
There we go. Yeah, you can get something to eat, Odelia. We've been live. We've been live forever. We probably need to call it here. Leslie's left and come back. That's how long. It's okay. People can see you.
I think we got enough projects.
As long as
done,
you're an
we can
adult,
show
you
them.
consent to being on camera. All right, I'm just going to use this double rose for the top. And then I'm going to call this one good. I don't think everything has to be like tons and tons and tons of molds. Jamie, do you still make renovation videos? If I'm home renovating. Our videos are always whatever we're doing. So
we have a renovation that's like a year and a half in the making at this point over in the cottage.
Yeah.
That's like probably a solid day or two's worth of work from being able to start going in and do like finish work.
So if you want to see more, make sure you're following Jamie and Zeb on Facebook and YouTube.
Fair warning, if we're busy over on this channel, I don't get videos out on that channel. So it's like depends. What we have going on.
But the last time what happened with us, when we started renovating this house, that we got a bunch of followers that went away because they weren't interested in renovation videos, and our channel tanked. And so we've been slowly rebuilding it since that happened. So then we have the Jamie and Zeb channel, and that's where we just do whatever. So this channel will probably never be home renovating again because it just didn't do well. But if you want to see us do renovations, because that's definitely going to happen, then that'll happen on Jamie
all
and
the
Zeb.
Tractor videos too. I watch a bunch of tractor channels. I'm probably going to separate the tractor stuff out. So if people don't want to watch me working with the tractor, they can just skip that video.
But I think that we may have like design videos on Jamie Ray Vintage, but Jamie and Zeb is where like the nitty gritty will happen.
Yeah. All right, you about done? I think we're.
Somebody asked about how we met, and Caitlin dropped a link. If you just go to YouTube and type "When Jamie Met Zeb," Jamie Ray Vintage, that video will pop up, and we actually have a live video where we talked all about it. Are you trying to pull everything together? Yeah, you can. I'm just going to glue this on, and then we can show them what we've done.
Now that it's drying, that little horse out there looks way better.
Oh, the provincial horse?
Yeah, now that it's starting to dry in that sun. We met at a high school football game that was, well, Jamie's school was playing.
Desiree's sister was dating Zeb's brother back in the day.
No, Caitlin's sister, Desiree.
Caitlin's sister, Desiree. I don't know why I said that. What did I say?
Desiree's sister.
Caitlin's sister is Desiree, and she was dating Zeb's brother many, many years ago. That's how we met. We are high school sweethearts and have been together a long time. Okay. I think that looks piddly. I'm going to have to add some more. I thought I could do just one little bunch, but I cannot. And I may take this one a little more too. You know, we always say that you're the one that has projects that like continue to go on. I'm going to be the project gal today. So this is a different mirror that we did earlier, but it's the same base, and I just did different molds on that.
I did take all the easy projects, with maybe the exception of these bunnies. They were They were difficult to wax.
And
but-
this was the inlay into provincial. It dried, and so it's a lot lighter, but when I seal it, the blue will get darker again. I'm gonna lightly distress the provincial, and then I'll seal it all up.
This is going to be a great shot with all of our mess out here. Hey, I got 3 frames done. That's good. I haven't bought a frame in a while. It's been like 2 weeks.
You bought frames yesterday.
I didn't.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
Oh. That's Jack's orange Fanta. You can have it if you want.
I'm just going to put the bunnies there. So you can see
This
them.
we didn't actually finish on this video. We did this on the channel member video, but I'm going to include it.
You're going to claim it.
It happened today.
So we did, there's 2 other projects that aren't going to make it. 4 projects over here. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. 14,
Oh, and don't forget the
15,
cloche.
16. Oh, yeah, the
That's
cloche.
behind you.
17.
Don't drop it.
I'm not going to drop it.
All right,
17
guys.
projects in a day.
And we're not done yet. We're going to paint some more for tomorrow's video. And if you want to see us paint again, we will have Waste Not Wednesday tomorrow at 10 a.m. Mountain Time. That's where we make over junk. It's a little bit more like honed in and less all over the place, like paint-a-palooza.
It's usually like 1 or 2 projects where paint-a-palooza is like 20.
If you guys need paint products, they're JamieRayVintage.com. And if you like this video, be sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe to Jamie Ray Vintage for more.
DIY.
I was like, what am I supposed to end with?
Did that camera changing distract you?
Yeah, I did. But
Hang on, don't
you
end
guys
it
get
yet.
the point.
Let me turn this back on, or else it'll end with that black bars, and it'll try to show that to everybody. That'll be the
Bye,
thumbnail.
guys. Love you. We'll see you tomorrow.